Hail! What's up, fellowship? How's it going? I guess let's do this thing.
We're just going to start and go through intros for the whole time.
Yeah, that's all we're going to do.
By the time we're done, get to quarter black, everybody just leave.
But we want to thank all of you, first of all, blown away, humbled. We've got 45 minutes, so we're going to try to run through this. We're going to do about 20 minutes of talking, and then we're going to take 25 minutes, something like that, for questions. So first, we're here. Obviously, I'm Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, Ryan, RK Outpost, Gary from Nerdrotic, Eric July, Quarter Black Gary.
From Nerdrotic.
From Nerdrotic. And we're all part of the same kind of, little hub of the internet, and we're thankful for everything we have. Just a few years ago, none of us really had a following except for Ripa. He's always been famous. We wanted to talk to you guys about what it took for us to build what we have, and really that's because of all of you. The only reason we have what we have is because of all of you. I was a retail worker just a few years ago, watching places like Collider and imagining what a life it would be if I had a YouTube channel that anyone would watch, and I would never be able to do that. And here we are now with the Friday Night Tights thing, which is part of Gary's channel, which will probably be the biggest channel on YouTube in a few months. He's a rock star.
It's on the way.
Yeah, but Gary, I found Gary, you had like 50,000 subs, and you were filling in for me on the show. And I watched Gary, and I said, this guy's going to be a superstar. And he back then he actually respected me. Now he just tells me what to do. But Gary
tell everybody what to do.
That's right. He is the boss.
Even though I'm not organized at all. Proving anybody can make it. Absolutely.
And the thing I want a lot of people to realize, this is something we talk about a lot. This guy, just a few years ago, this guy came to a fan meetup just to meet us. And look at him now. He just hit 150,000 subscribers.
It's crazy for me because when I went to see you guys, it was at a meetup at San Diego Comic-Con at a little bar, and I thought to myself, and I'm sure a lot of people here that went to the meetup thought to yourself, should I go? I don't know. It's just going to be me going there. Maybe I won't know anybody. Obviously, I don't regret that decision, being where we're at now, but it's cool to see it being from 5 to 10 people at a bar to now packing a convention hall, packing Gators downtown in Dallas. This is awesome, and it's all thanks to all of you guys.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So thank you.
All you guys.
And we've got to a point where someone who was part of a channel with millions of subs, it was wanted to be part of what Gary was doing and what we're doing Friday Night Tights, Quarter Black Gary.
Yeah, I was just a humble man in New York City trying to find Jeremy, and I hunted them down.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to be part of this because I knew 4 years ago that it was something special. Yeah, I was like, I want to be part of that, and it's been that every day, and it's been getting better and better. And damn, and it's because of you guys. It's honestly because of you guys. We're a bunch of retards up here.
We really don't know.
We really don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Somehow you guys enjoy it.
We can barely get everybody together to come down here, to be on time for this.
You should have saw yesterday. We did Friday Night Tights. You should have saw, and shout out to Quarter Black Garrett. But you should have saw us trying to put everything together and connecting everything, and the fact that it works every week for 200 plus episodes. The fact that somebody like Gina Carano wants to come on our show, which she was on yesterday, is incredible. And I know probably the person everybody's here to see is Ripa.
Yeah.
Someone that apparently I get credit for building his entire channel. That's obviously not the case. And I met Ripa a few years ago. Another creator, Anna, that Star Wars girl, introduced me and Ripa. She told me, she goes, I think you and him would get along really good. And he recognized at an early point in meeting me that I was going to be better at him at Mario Kart. And it took a few, but it did. We clicked immediately, and now here you are, man. We do main event together. We do streams together. And you've obviously been in the game for a while. But one thing you said the other day during your stream was how blown away you were at the meetup.
Yep.
And how that really motivates you with the Ripaverse and everything.
Yeah, no, that was huge. I mean, to see what we saw obviously at Gators was we haven't seen anything like that. That was amazing. And I have had the luxury of being involved in so many different things. Some of you guys may know me from my band and, touring the country and doing all that stuff, but I had never seen anything like that on this side of the aisle where so many people were just stoked to, just chat about random stuff, which is what fandom and all of that sort of stuff was always about, and it was awesome. And just this message sort of resonating with folks, and you guys have blessed me because of all you guys. I've been put in a situation to be in a position that I'm in to start my own ventures and stuff. Like that's a relatively
Renaissance.
Hell yeah.
That's a relatively new phenomena when we talk about what we're talking about on the panel. I've been on YouTube probably longer than everybody here. I was 17 when I first created my YouTube channel. And to be where we're at now, we're closing in on 500,000. So like that, I would have never imagined anything like that being possible for me to be a part of a project. And also talking about this, the nerd stuff that you didn't even know there was a market for, but when you get out there and you speak about this type of stuff, you see that this stuff resonates with everybody, and that's just so important. And it just, in our circle or corner of the internet, just meeting all of these cool, awesome people, it's just been amazing, man.
Yeah.
It really goes to show you that the death of like the legacy media, the access media, the established media, it's done.
Yeah.
Like, people want this stuff. Like, you guys are here because we are us, not because we're trying to be somebody else. And as soon as we aren't that, you guys are going to leave.
Yep.
And we know that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Please keep us on track, because like that's
Always.
what I enjoy the most.
Oh, they
is that
do.
We're all so real,
Yes,
you know.
they do.
And I count countless people have come up to me at meetups that we've done, or just people that I come and meet in the street. They come and say, "Man, I feel so alone. Like nobody said the things that I was thinking about these shows and these things that I get made fun of for liking, and you guys say those things." So that's what motivates me, and I can speak for you guys too. So whenever you hear that, that makes you want to make more, because you go, I used to feel that way. I used to feel like nobody's saying this. Let me get online at Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 2, and see who else hates this show, because everybody else seems to love it. And I saw Gary, and I was like, okay, this guy knows what's up.
Yes.
So that was the same way for me, and it's great to hear that it's the same way for you guys, and I want to hear you guys making stuff.
Well,
I love hearing that too.
Gary's the Joe Rogan of the geek world.
No.
He really is.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Hey, so you might have heard that I used to own a comic shop back in San Francisco for 10 years. So I've always known fandom is a great place. So that feeling you got that you thought you were going crazy, taking crazy pills, I had that feeling too, and you're not. You're the sane ones. You're the ones with common sense. I talked to you guys back then. The reason I started my channel was it was just a hobby. It was just to stay in it so I can keep talking to you. That was the thing I missed the most from the comic shop, was talking to you guys every single day. Some days I make $10, but I'd have 10 people sitting in the shop BSing. That was great. That was a good day for me. I was fine. Hey, I made $10 and I got to talk about comics all day. But it stopped being fun, and they took all the fun out of our fun, and through this journey I found out it's been very deliberate. So thank you for speaking up, and without you guys speaking up, you are what they fear. You are what the legacy
100%.
media fears, what the actors fear, and we've got an actor in here who's spoken up. Thanks, dude.
That's right. What's up,
Man,
man?
Marcy.
And hopefully more of them will. And of course, Gina's here.
Yeah.
It's rebellion.
Yes.
Yeah.
People are tired of the fake BS, right?
Yeah.
They want to see us disagree about something, even though there might be some people in the chat that think we go too far when it comes to the binge model versus the weekly.
Don't even start that, man. We don't have time.
But that's what it's about, and I think that even just hanging out with these guys.
It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, and
It is.
it's okay to have me build your channel. So.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hey, one thing we like to do, and it's because we're just amazing, we like to shout out smaller creators. And we have this guy named The Critical Drinker.
Yeah.
Go subscribe to his channel. Check out a small up-and-coming YouTuber. Definitely somebody, but yeah, Quarter Black's idea to put him here. That was a great idea.
It's our guest next week on Friday Night Tights, by the way.
Yes.
Next
Male
week.
drinker drink.
But one thing that we constantly hear, and I know everybody here hears it when we meet people, you say, I didn't know that anyone else out there was thinking like me until I saw your video. What you guys don't realize, when you guys tell us that hits home to us too. Because when we were talking about the things we talked about, we weren't sure people were going to agree with us or whatever. So when you guys come up to us and shake our hands and tell us how much our words meant to you, your words mean just as much to us. And we are just everyday people. If you see us out and about, come up, shake our hand, talk to us, get a picture. We are not above that. We never will be above that. I remember following YouTubers when I didn't have a channel, and I didn't know how to approach them. I'm like, these guys are, whatever. No. What I'm here to tell you, we are just everyday people. Just come up to us, talk to us. If you need advice, if you need help, we'll do what we can, and we appreciate every single thing you do for us. We really do.
And every couple months when we do these, it kind of hits home again. It's one thing to see you guys in the chat, to get DMs, encouragement, emails, but when you see people that have come from 7 hours away just to come
7 hours
just to come watch us at a panel here, that's crazy. That's phenomenal. And I think what it makes me feel is a sense of responsibility to always be us and always continue to speak out, not be afraid, not get caught up in that stuff. Keep doing what we're doing because we owe it all to you.
Yep, 100%, 100%. Dean, are we ready to take questions now?
Yeah. You guys have questions? It's pretty packed in here, so what I might do is just hand you the mic where you're at.
There you go. So if you got questions, raise your hand, and Dean will start passing the mic around.
First hand.
Full house.
Also, real quick, shout out to Odin and Comics Today. There's no Friday Night Tights without a little conversation between Odin and I. I was talking to you in my car, and that's how the show started.
That's how it all started.
Yeah.
And then Odin calls me and goes, "Hey, I got this idea with Gary." I was like, I'm not doing live streams.
He was only supposed to go for one show.
Came on for one show. I was like, "Look, I'll be there for one show."
He hasn't left yet.
And I haven't left
get
yet.
rid of him.
So. But love those guys.
So my question is, I have made content in the past. It was during shutdown more so because my job didn't allow me to go to my job in person, and I had infinite amount of free time to make videos for my channels. Since now we're post-pandemic, and the day job takes over. Some days it's 14 hours a day, some days it's 16 hours a day and working, and I just haven't made the time to make content. What's your advice as far as making the time to make content? Because I really want to do it. It's just I'm exhausted during the week. On the weekend I want family time and personal time. And so I really wanted, because it was very rewarding, even though it didn't get a whole lot of views, and I don't have a whole lot of subscribers. I put the work in. I'm very proud of the work I put in. But what's your advice as far as keeping up with the hobby, so that hopefully someday, and maybe 15 years, I think probably 15 years from now is when I could potentially make it a post, second career. What's your advice?
Realistic goals. Just do. I had a full-time job. I was starting my life over. Things were in shambles, and I managed to keep it going once a month. Just once a month, either me or a friend, and we just recorded. Didn't even live stream back then. We would record separately. I'd put them together, and that was my little hobby. And once a month for a couple of years, that's doable.
Yeah.
Consistency, like you were saying, every month. If you can make one piece of content every month and make it a hobby, like you just said, it's a hobby. Treat it that way. Make sure you love it, and then just be consistent. And then over time, you'll
get better at it. You'll be able to do
Well,
twice a month.
Yeah, and I've talked about it many times. My channel was there for 4 or 5 years, under 1,000 subscribers. I was working retail and everything, and I really wasn't on the channel much for the main Geeks and Gamers channel. I went through so many second guessing of should I keep doing this? Because I created Geeks and Gamers in 2011. It didn't become really relevant until 2018. So I lost thousands and thousands of dollars, second guessed. And I believed in what I wanted to do, but I was constantly faced with, people questioning what I was doing, which is fine. That's part of life, and it makes you really realize if you actually believe what you're doing. And I did get lucky. I do believe that there was some luck in there, but without me staying the course, the luck wouldn't have never entered the equation. So the fact that it's a hobby, you say, that's important, because you got to like what you're doing.
Yeah.
You got to care about it at its core, or it will start to feel like a work or a job, and you'll get really frustrated if you're not getting a return on your investment.
And you guys can figure that out There's so many. One of the biggest mistakes I think content creators make is they forget you guys and they start thinking they're smarter than everybody, and we're not. I'm a moron. So
dropped
keep
out of
that.
3 high school, or kicked out of 3 high schools,
Kicked
dropped out of
three high
1.
schools, there you
So
I never went to high school, so there you go.
You win.
There you go.
So first off, I want to say thank you because I actually won one of the tickets back in San Diego for the Spider-Man. But I don't know if you remember, I was the guy who emailed and said, yeah, it turned out that was my anniversary. My wife said no.
Nice.
But, so I couldn't go. So I've moved out here, right behind you, down into the Houston area. And when I'm looking at you guys, because I'm a history major, do you guys see the resemblance or kind of like the same path of the early Hollywood when there was 500 different production companies making different movies, and you know the cream rise to the top, and we have the studios. Do you guys see yourselves in that, where people are all making different types of movies and then or productions or entertainment?
To answer that, I say all the time, I think we're on the brink of kind of this cultural renaissance, and it's hard to say where we kind of fit on that timeline, but for sure it's not just us. You see what Gina Carano is doing. You see what other people that are in the kind of what people deem as like the indie space are doing, because the means are way more affordable than what they were before. And with the social media and everything, we have a direct line of sight with our audience. So we're able to do a lot of stuff that we couldn't do before. And there's a lot of talented people that are really fed up with the way that things have been done. So I think to answer your question, yeah, I don't know where we fit on the timeline exactly, but absolutely, and it's not just in our industry. I think you're gonna see this in the coming years. So many people that have come from kind of this era that are seeing a lot of success in their individual creations, because everybody's realizing that we don't really need these guys. For one, they hate us. But we don't really need these guys. The power is in the people, and a lot of those guys are just first in, best dressed. And what we have now with the more decentralized kind of means, I hope we have that. That's what I want. That's what I always advocate for people that know where I'm at from a political landscape. It makes no sense that you have these mega corporate entities that have control of all these properties. That doesn't even make any sense, definitely in this day and age. So people can maintain ownership. There's no reason to sell their assets off. So yeah, we're at the brink of a little cultural renaissance, and we'll see what happens going into the future.
Yeah, I think Hollywood is bloated and their business model is old, and they're starting to see the beginnings of that.
Well, how many times have we seen it? Radio, TV, movies, every time something major changes from one industry to another, the previous industry gets mad at that new young industry and they want to destroy it.
Yep.
So that's all we're seeing. We're seeing
Yellow Cab, Uber.
There's
Yeah,
a
look at that.
There's a reason CNN is furious that YouTubers are getting more views than them.
Yep. And 87-year-old Taylor Lorenz.
By the way, thoughts and prayers to the Quartering's beard. By the way,
F's in the chat.
thoughts and prayers to our eyes for seeing that as well. Jeremy, I know you're going to be watching. So.
Hi guys.
Hey.
I spent some time in Southern California going to college. And,
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And because of my my right-leaning views, my interest in the industry of comics, nerddom, and all that stuff, I kind of felt like no one cared about my voice. You know, whenever you spend years being surrounded by people that are just trying to shout you down at every step. So what tips do you have for people that feel like their opinions don't really matter and they don't really have a voice? They have a problem getting their voice out because they feel like it doesn't matter. You know.
Well, I mean, your voice matters. Screw everybody. That's it.
And I think that some people have a harder time giving voice to their opinions than others, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of us, we feel very comfortable being very loud sometimes and obnoxious, and very passionate about whatever it is. But not everybody's
Restaurants
like
at 3 a.m.
That's right.
That's called projecting right there.
but not everybody's like that, you know, which I think is for a big reason why sometimes you guys find our YouTube channels, because you didn't maybe know how to voice what you were thinking. Something's wrong with Star Wars, but I don't know what. Why don't I like Force Awakens? Why don't I like The Last Jedi? And then you finally hear somebody, whether it's one of these guys, whether it's a Critical Drinker or a Maul or whoever it may be, they say what you're feeling, and you're like, that's it, and that kind of gets you down the right path.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you find the right people. That helps to find the fellowship, which is just we come from all makes, shapes, and sizes here, right? And always have. And they've been trying to put labels on Jeremy, me, you out there, all of you. Every label put on us is put on you for years now, and they failed completely because we didn't stop. And yeah, it is hard to get your voice. That you just got to keep doing it, got to grind through it. I felt the same way.
Yeah, I think we all kind of did, except for Ryan, who just walked into it and just took over immediately. He didn't have to worry about it. But again, I talked about with the channel being where it was. I never had confidence that was ever going to be anything. I wasn't even on camera when we created the Geeks and Gamers channel because that wasn't what I was looking to do. I was looking to be the person that was building everything behind the scenes, and something's going to come your way that's going to really light a fire under you, that's going to give you that voice you need, and you can't worry about the negativity. I talked about this the other day with Ripa and me kind of have a different approach to what we're doing on our channels right now in respect to Hollywood. He doesn't cover any of the current releases because he's done and he's doing Ripaverse. I have been covering it as we did, Gary and Ryan. We get the same amount of negativity. There's the people like, why is Jeremy and Ryan and Gary covering this? Why are you still? Well, we need to cover it so we can let you guys know what's going on. Same amount of criticism about Ripa. Why aren't you covering this, Ripa? And we just have to stay our course, because we all have what we're passionate about.
Yeah, hopefully they just understand and watch our videos and listen to what we actually say.
Yeah.
Hey, this question.
Cobra Kai.
This question's from my neighbor Eric. We are actually neighbors in
Literally.
real life.
Yeah.
So when are you going to stop holding out and release this book, Eric?
So hard-hitting questions.
All right, so as I don't know if some of you guys know, we've started this comic book company, like everything from scratch. There's no investors, there's no any of that. So it was a lot of stuff that I didn't even anticipate, and thinking that I knew at least a decent amount that kind of comes up, and a lot of money. I spent a lot of money on this project. But we're nearing the finish line. I would say it's about 95% basically ready to be released. The only thing that's being held up right now is I didn't want to go through like another third party, like another website as far as housing everything. So we're building our own kind of unique website, and we're testing the hell out of it because I feel like it's gonna break. So I'm trying to break it, and our server guys, everybody's working endlessly too. But it is something that's certainly worth the wait. And I think, again, maybe by the end of the month, sometime next month, I think it'll be ready to be completely announced, and we'll be able to accept you guys as dollars. So we're right around the corner.
And I want to say, I don't think enough credit goes to Ripa for what he's doing. This probably the most difficult way anyone could do it, and I mean that because he's doing everything where he has control of everything. He's not relying on anyone or anything other than him and the team he's built. And that's why it's taking so long. There's easier routes that he could have took that could have had this launched. And I know like every week on Main Event, you got people asking, what are you gonna do? So it's because he's doing it in he's doing it in the most difficult way, but it also ensures that he can give you the best product possible. That should be respected. So round of applause for Ripa.
Please don't boo me, okay? I'm gonna preface this, but it's a question about representation. So just not saying this for pity, but I myself I've got major depressive disorder. There are times where, when it's bad, can't be left in the room, or, might do something terrible to myself. And I recently read a story, Brandon Sanderson, great author. I didn't seek it out or anything, but just one of the characters happened to have a major, he's got depression. He can't be left in the room, or something terrible might really happen. So didn't seek out the representation part of it, but I would be lying if I wasn't truly moved by having that character, having a situation that I myself have been through and I can relate to. So my question is can you do, I hate forced representation, I think we all do. Can you do it right? Can you start with a character trait such as depression and make a good character out of it? Or do you start with a character and add some kind of representation quantity like depression? how do we do this right?
I wouldn't consider that a representation
Yeah, I
kind of
wouldn't
thing.
either. Yeah.
Because
And thank you for the question, by the way.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question because I think a lot of people get it twisted. Like that, what you're talking about is the point. I think where people lose the plot is that they focus or hyperemphasize like race or sexuality or
Superficial.
something, superficial sort of stuff. But what you said that resonates regardless of people's race.
Yes.
Regardless of people's
Yeah.
sexuality, regardless of people's gender.
No, you connected on the human level.
Right, and that is really what we all advocate, focusing on that. Like, I could resonate with a character and not have to be the same color or skin tone as that character because of something that you mentioned. So there's nothing wrong with that. I know nobody at this table has a problem with that because people go through certain things, and that experience in itself is what we value. But that's the whole point of what we talk about. Unfortunately, with this day and age in Hollywood and everything, they hyperemphasize a bunch of superficial stuff.
It's at a shallow level. That's the problem with Hollywood now, is that they want to represent everybody, but at this shallow level of not understanding what that means to be somebody with depression like that. They would write a character that is just, oh, look at me, I'm so sad all the time. Look at me, I have depression all the time, but not what it means to be that. What day-to-day actions, what kind of character would that make you? And that's what we want. We want Hollywood, just media, to make people that have different types of views, different races, different sexualities, but meaningful to the characters. That's all we want.
Each race or identity isn't a hive mind. I mean, I told the story before on live streams, but like, I really identify with Golem. His need for the ring as a grateful recovering addict, I totally got it. That's exactly what, a tweaker looked like. Was Golem.
And there's a big difference between telling a personal story about someone who is struggling with depression, than just, I want to make a character. Well, what are they like? Well, they're a black lesbian. Well, what are they like? They're a black lesbian.
I already told you. Don't you feel seen?
Exactly. and that's the thing is when we're going after these things, it's not that we have a problem with any inherent representation or any person being in something. It's how Hollywood has tried to weaponize that. That's the issue there. We're sitting over here right now. We've got my Geeks and Gamers crew over here. We've got Mexicans. We've got Krista, who's a Canadian. We've even got Congman here, who's going to be on, Geeks and Gamers very soon. And they're not here because of their, background or their race. They're here because they're good people. They're good freaking people, and that's why they're here. And that just happens to represent, a different segment of, people. And just treat people with respect, and don't use their race, gender, or identity to push anything other than a good story.
And just for the record, I want to say this. I know you guys have been asking. We did not intentionally sit us like this.
Segregated. I feel like I should be on that side, though. It'd be a gradient.
So, first of all, I want to thank every single one of you sitting up there for doing what you do. As a small content creator like myself and my partner here, we appreciate what you've done, especially when Gina Carano was fired, because our YouTube channel, we were part of a podcast network that kicked us out for speaking up for Gina Carano. So you guys helped us get through that. So first of all, thank you very much.
Thank you. Up and coming, not small. Up and coming.
Yeah. Right. And my second question is for Eric. So what is your advice for comic book creators? So I'm trying to develop my own comic series right now. What sort of advice would you give as far as developing your main characters and side characters?
Well, I'll tell you how I did it. And not everybody does it this way. Like, I started from, obviously, this is a brand new thing. So my whole, I had an objective, and I think you start there. Like, what are you trying to accomplish with this book? Is it a universe? Whatever it is, what exactly are you trying to accomplish? And before I ever wrote a story, I was like developing the characters. I had what is known as, or what I call like a universe Bible. So it literally has a bunch of pages, and like I'm like, all right, who is this character? What's their name? Like what type of stuff do I want them to sort of experience? And as I write the story, you know, I'll change whatever because I want it to feel sort of organic. But I started there before I ever wrote a story because I think that just worked for me. It may work different. Some people, I guess, they like just pen kind of is his own thing, and they're not even thinking about it, and they're just writing. I'm not really that way. I have to be purposeful. So I started off with an objective, and then kind of went from there. And like I said many times, my whole thing that I wanted to accomplish with this thing is what I fell in love with regarding Marvel and DC. And that was that there's this big expanded sort of universe with all of these different characters from all these different walks of life, and it didn't matter what kind of story or character you liked, there was someone for you. I wanted to build that myself. So starting from scratch, I started with a universe Bible and just with fleshing out character after character after character before I even wrote the story. So that was my idea there.
And we talked at the meetup, guys. Keep grinding.
Yeah.
Because, I know it's tough what you went through, but keep grinding.
Absolutely. Let's hear it. Yeah.
As I told you at the meetup when we talked, you know, you've already shown that you truly stand with what you believe in, because you could have went, oh guys, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that, but no, you've already been through the difficult part, and that's testing you. Yeah, that's testing you for future success, and now you're going to be prepared for that. So keep grinding and don't let anything knock you off that path.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Shout out, man.
So, obviously, I know a lot of people say y'all are sexist. I'm here, so I don't think that's true.
I haven't been repeating myself.
I'm even subscribed to you, Ryan.
Thank you. I bet I have the biggest female audience everybody here, just saying.
One Johnny Depp video.
But just, it's like years of constantly getting over and over and over again, just, you have internalized misogyny, and mostly from soy boys. It's really annoying, and it's just like years after years, it's kind of taking a toll, and some days I just wish I could just delete everything. And how do you deal with annoyances like that constantly?
Well, being the black person at the table.
Hey.
Well, being the full black person at the table. Seriously, you're gonna get all these weirdos, and I get it all the time. It's like when you hate yourself for being who you are, because they have placed a box upon you. And they think because you are a woman, you are supposed to, has to be your position on something like as silly as a movie, which to me is insane anyway. But that's their approach, and they're gonna do that regardless. What it is that these kind of guys have, like, they're ran by their own individual activism. So they need you to be more than likely some sort of victim of some sort in order for them. This is why you said soy boys are the ones that generally say that. It's the same thing as some pencil neck white dude telling me that I hate myself because I'm black or something weird like that. It's like, okay, that's interesting enough. But you have to, on a serious note though, the reason why I'm as rough around the edges as I am, and I'm always, people that follow me, I'm always making fun of these types very aggressively, because that's how you kind of got to handle them. They should feel as stupid as hell for telling you that you despise yourself just because you have a difference in opinion. That's so stupid. So make fun of them, get something out of that. If you're going to spend time going back and forth with these weirdos, make fun of them, mock them, because they are stupid people.
Hell yeah. Laugh at it as much as you can, make it fun. I mean, you know, like it's nothing. It's something online. It is obviously mostly anonymous guys. Now we probably think it's like 30% bots on Twitter, maybe more than that. So, you know, I took it as a badge of honor. First time somebody messaged me, called me a racist and a Nazi, I was like, all right, I'm as cool as Jeremy now.
You just have to focus on the 99.9% of people out there that are positive and agree with you. As funny as it sounds for me to say, but that really is, when you factor in, probably all of us spend way more time than we should on one or two comments or one or two people that are saying some stuff that it's out of left field, but you ignore all the positive stuff sometimes. So you just have to realize that those people are not worth your time, energy, or effort, and you just focus on continue doing what you're doing.
Yep. And thank you for the question.
Yep, thank you.
And thank you for subscribing to my channel.
So I just want to say my very first job was I worked in a comic book shop, and it was nice to not be the weird, creepy girl that everyone looked at because I was into nerdy shit. And they're like, girls aren't supposed to like that. And it was also in Anchorage, Alaska, so that's even more out there. My question is, because it was posted on Az's channel when he was doing his live stream, what would you want your last meal to be? What's your favorite meal?
Pepperoni pizza, easy.
Yeah, I really do not like agreeing with Ryan, but it's pepperoni pizza. It 100% is.
Jalapenos. When you all get ready to leave the table, you can tie your shoes and not have the Velcro on them. Let me know. That's right, pineapple pizza, jalapeno.
That's a great question.
I'm gonna say the blackest thing in here is fried chicken.
You stole it. I was gonna say fried chicken and mashed potatoes.
Good question.
Oh, this is my last meal. I'm about to die. A beer. That was my last beer.
Cracker for me.
And just to be clear, how long sober, Gary?
Oh, this time around, almost 9 years.
9 years.
Thank you.
All right. Hello, guys. What I'm doing is bringing the old school Hollywood back, and I already showed this to Jeremy. But how do I prepare myself? Because when I post my comic in social media, how do I prepare myself? What do you call them? The leftists and all them. When they see the post, I'm gonna get comments of all these people. So how do I shield myself for that?
You make connections with all these people in here. You have an army at your back.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because like Ryan, when Ryan first joined Geeks and Gamers, and I know it's easy to look at his channel now and his mentality, and he's always, this is who he is, but because he was kind of the EU guy, Star Wars EU, and he's an expert at it, he did a few expanded universe videos for the channel. And this is when you had less than a few hundred subscribers, probably.
I made my first video after I'd only posted one video on my own channel, so I had like 300, 400 subs.
So he made a few videos for Geeks and Gamers, and he faced a lot. Like, I think he might have even got ratioed a few times just because the people were kind of spamming, and it was like overwhelming at first, just because it was like the vocal minority is making himself sound like, even though he was part of Geeks and Gamers, you're still feeling it, and just stood the course because. There's no substitute for belief in what you're doing. It just, you're always going to face detractors. You're always going to face people that are trying to set you back. There's no substitute for that confidence. And if you have that passion and confidence in what you're doing, it will work out. It may take time, but it will work out. I'm proof of that. 2011 is when I created Geeks and Gamers. And it took till 2018 for it to actually start getting any relevance whatsoever.
Well, you said something there. It's like, no matter what you do, you're gonna get clapback. Right? I went from politics at Louder with Crowder to nerd culture. No difference. Still a racist, white supremacist. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are. You're still gonna get crap. So you just gotta put that to the side. Like before with the other question, just don't pay attention to that. I know you will. You're a human, right? You're going to pay attention to it. You just got to put that aside and think about the 99% of people that do want to know what you have to do, do want to know what you have to say, what you want to put out, and just focus on that.
So guys, we have to end it here. We only have 45 minutes, and look, I want to thank every one of you. We didn't know how many people would show up. We didn't make this announcement until the real BBC on Tuesday. When we got everything confirmed. This is not something we had planned out. Blown away.
We've packed this place.
Yeah, we have packed just a few days. We got in room only. And, I stream with my heroes, but in all reality, this is amazing. We've got some hats up here.
Throw these out right now.
Throw them out right now. Come on. Where are you at?
7
Come
hours.
Here, come here.
15.
Here, I'll give you the papers.
Thank you guys for coming out. Seriously.
Don't let anybody slow your love.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.